All right, everybody, welcome into the Pillow Talk edition of Pugs Moran Live. This is the Pugs and Parker version. We are joined by James Parker tonight. Well, most nights, 9 o'clock. And it's a little bit different than what we do at noon. This is, of course, the second of two. Of course, you say it like everybody knows. It's the second of two streams that we do each and every day. The first one's at noon. That's the high noon show. That's nothing but topics. Headlines, things that are trending, hot topics, anything that people are talking about on this particular day. We try and run through boom, boom, boom right there at noon every day. This Pillow Talk, this is a little different. This is a little bit, a little bit lighter, a little bit, it's just an hour, just a little bit conversation. Typically, James Parker joins us, although I don't know where he is today, but I'm sure he'll be along. He'll be along shortly. He is dependable. I said fingers crossed. We'll see. It's been more conversational. We get into like single subjects and really sort of dig down into them. First of all, though, if you listen to the High Noon Show, you know that I have a dog that shares this property with me here at the One Percenter compound. I live in the Comfort Nest guest lounge where we do the shows from and where I live. And then there is a greater property with a master house where the dog is the dog of that house. The master of the property is away on spring break. Excuse me. So I am in charge of the dog. You hear me talking about the dog all the time. I thought I would share this. I've been at war with this son of a bitch all day long. Look at her. There she is. Look at her. That's her. She is a monster, this dog. This dog, she wouldn't get off the bed this morning. So I had to take off my flip-flop and I had to threaten her with it. And I raised it above my head and I slapped it hard on the ground or on the table. And she jumped off the bed like, oh, I don't want none of that. And she ran out the door. Then I came in here and I started to do the show, the noon show, high noon, every day at noon. And when it was over, I needed to go over to the big house. I needed to change her water. I needed to do stuff for her. This awful hell beast. I had to go and make sure that she had food, that she had water, tussle her little head a little bit, make her feel like she's loved. And guess what I find out? I find out that when I wasn't looking, she took that flip-flop that I had threatened her with, and she had buried it out in the backyard under a bunch of leaves and twigs, and she made a little pile and she hit him. She didn't like that I threatened her with them. So then that started a whole thing where me and her, I yelled at her again, and we're going back and forth, and she's barking. She's like barking at me, and I'm like, no, you are awful. You are a terrible, terrible dog. Fast forward a couple hours later, I've been doing my running. I've been getting my running in. Couple hours go by and I go out on the back porch and I look at her, and guess what she's doing? She's chewing my gym shoe. She destroyed my gym shoe. She is like, this is a whole new thing for her. She doesn't typically eat my stuff. She doesn't eat anybody's stuff. This is a good gym shoe. It was. Now it's completely trashed. Look, she tore up the bottom of it. She ripped up. Look at her. She's a monster. That dog is a monster, I tell you. I don't know. All right, we'll get rid of her now. Stop sharing. She is a monster. I don't know what. You know what she does? She misses the master of the house. That's what's going on. She's starting to get a little upset because the master of the house has been gone now for the better part of a week, and she doesn't. Apparently, I'm not good enough for her. Apparently, and what's she doing right now? She's laying on the floor. She's laying right by the door. She's just staring at me. Yeah, I'm talking about you. She knows I'm talking about her. So now, I can't wear these. I can't wear that gym shoe anymore. This gym shoe is ruined. I loved this gym shoe. This was like a great running shoe. And she has completely destroyed it. She chewed right through the bottom. Then she worked on this end, and it's still all wet. It's wet from her slobber. She was working on this for an hour, and I didn't even notice. Took them off. I went for my run. I got my last run in this afternoon, took them off, left them out there on the porch because they stink, and she went to town on my gym shoe. Fast Outdoor Food says, Pugs, for your information, if you have a P.O. box, I would gladly send some money, or if you have a lunch, I would stop by and drop off cash. I just don't like my money online. I owe you. Don't you worry about a thing, Fast Outdoor Food. That's a wonderful offer. What a kind gesture, but it's not at all needed. Mr. Dookie Pie's here. Hey, y'all. Mr. Dookie Pie checking in. Kenny Jenkins, greetings from Garland. Greetings to you, Kenny Jenkins, from the Comfort Nest. Jeff says maybe, in response to the dog, I'm guessing. Jeff says maybe she was listening to the High Noon Show. Let's see. Sorry, I lost that one. I lost it. Jeff says maybe she was listening to the High Noon Show and heard you talking shit about her. Oh, I talk shit about her to her face. That is absolutely nothing new. Once again, I no longer have a running shoe. I now have to use like backup running shoe. I love these shoes. These shoes are so light and they're airy. They're wonderful. And they're green. I liked that they were green. Oh God, she just ruined my shoe. And by the way, this is only one of them. No idea where the other shoe is. Haven't a clue. She did something with, she probably threw it off the balcony. I don't have any idea where the new shoe is. All right, so James isn't here, so I'm not going to really just fill any time here or anything. I did have a couple of things that I wanted to do with James if he was here, but he's not, and if he jumps in, that's fine. We've been talking the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, they've made the news, and this is now a thing, Wheel of Fortune. Do you watch Wheel of Fortune? I don't watch Wheel of Fortune. I'm thinking after I get maybe a negative prostate report from my doctor, I'll settle in and start watching Wheel of Fortune. But that's not something that I watch now. But it's making news. A couple of weeks ago, we had an insane Wheel of Fortune video where the clue was feather in your cap. And like nobody could get it. Everybody's like, feather in your lap? I don't know, Pat. Feather in your map? It was embarrassing. And I got a theory about Wheel of Fortune now, because this is becoming a thing. People are just tanking it on Wheel of Fortune. And I am wondering if people are now tanking it on Wheel of Fortune simply to go viral. But do you want to go viral for being an idiot on Wheel of Fortune? Because, oh yeah, earlier today during the High Noon Show, Wheel of Fortune was trending because the clue was song lyrics, right? And it was obviously the Eurythmics song, Sweet Dreams Are Made of the... Okay, so that song. But the only thing that was missing was the last word, which if you were like me, you would have bet everything you had that the name or the phrase they were looking for was Sweet Dreams Are Made of These. Who am I to do? So the guy goes, like, Pat, I'd like to solve the puzzle. And Pat's like, you go for it, Buford. And Buford's like, sweet dreams are made of these. Ooh, sorry, Buford. Sorry. And the whole internet was divided. And I was on the side that was upset about it because, are you kidding me? What do you mean? That's not how it goes? Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Right? That's the lyric. That's the song. No. Apparently, Annie Lennox has been throwing us all for a loop all these years because what they were looking for was sweet dreams are made of this. Sweet dreams are made of... So that's why it was trending earlier today. Wheel of Fortune was trending earlier today because everybody was like, that's some bullshit, Pat. She's obviously singing Sweet Dreams Are Made of These, when not Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. But apparently it's just the way that she pronounces it. Okay, so we got past that. That's why that was trending earlier today. Well, here's James. James is here. James Parker joins the show. You're interrupting my Wheel of Fortune hunk, but it's good to have you here. What's new, James?
I just finished the new season of Last Kingdom, and it was absolutely fantastic. Big fan.
How is Uhtred, son of Uhtred?
Well, spoiler alert, he gets Bevenberg back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why'd you ruin that for me? Why did you ruin that for me?
I just ruined it for everyone. What are you talking about?
Why did you ruin that for me? That sucks.
What did you think was going to happen? He was going to die?
Well, the actual historical character who they believe Uhtred, son of Uhtred, is based on, is known as Uhtred the Bold of Bebbanbear. So, okay, so I'm guessing that historically he got it back anyway. However, with that said, can I ask you, now that you're all caught up, you have finished the fourth or fifth season?
I don't know, fourth, I think.
Fourth or fifth season. You have finished the fourth or fifth season. James, let me ask you, is Destiny still all?
Destiny is all. Destiny was everything. Destiny was
Destiny is all.
Yeah. Love that. Not even sure what that means, but me and the wife say it to each other now because we're idiots.
I shouted out during the so if you don't watch The Last Kingdom, they always do like a recap of what you've missed to catch you up. And then the very last thing, sort of like in Law and Order, where you have the gong gong, like the Law and Order noises. The last thing that he says at the end of every recap is "Destiny is all." And I like to say that too. I shout it out when I'm watching, even when I'm by myself. I just go, "Destiny is all." I love The Last Kingdom.
Yeah, fun stuff, but it fits in so well with some of the other stuff that we watch. Like we had started Vikings Valhalla, this newest season of Vikings, where it fast forwards a couple generations from Ragnar, and you've seen it, the Leif Erikson beginning of the Leif Erikson story. And so those two plot lines overlap. We also see some fun stuff that happens, like in Versailles, when you have the grandson of Rollo, or the great grandson. These people all have similar lineages.
Yes, the Versailles is following the. Would that be the Carolingian tree of history? Isn't that what Versailles is?
Is that what it would be called? Because they're bourbons. They're all bourbons. The Louis and
I thought Philippe. It was the Charleses. The Charleses that came from the Charlemagnes, the Carolingians. That's what I thought Versailles was. Who knows? But I like that stuff too. I've only seen like 3 episodes of Versailles.
It's fantastic. And it's so fun because like you get Versailles and you get the backstory to what happens with the French Revolution and then Napoleon, and then they restore the Bourbons, and then after they restore the Bourbons, the Duke of Orleans comes and there's another revolution and they put him on, who was the descendant of the two guys. The 2 guys that were descendants of the main characters in Versailles are the 2 guys that kind of hammer it out, kind of in that, like right after Les Miserables time, like after the revolution, after Napoleon, the rest monarchy is restored, and then the 2 like descendants of these 2 guys are battling out again to be king of France, and it's because they have the same names, Louis and Philippe. So
there you go. There you go. All right, I'll have to jump back into that. I didn't stop watching it because I didn't enjoy it. I think something else just caught my attention. Now I'm fully blown. Now that the full season of Mrs. Maisel is available, I'm jumping into the full season. I watched the first 2 episodes of the new Mrs. Maisel.
I watched the first one of the new Mrs. Maisel.
Midge is getting cocky. She's getting good. She's finding her voice. Oh boy, I'm telling you, I think this season's going to be great. All right, so you interrupted me. Let's go back to what we were talking about. Wheel of Fortune. We'll get to your monologue. Did you send a monologue? I'm not sure.
I haven't yet. No,
you haven't yet. Okay. So Wheel of Fortune. Obviously, we talked about the one from 2 weeks ago where it was feather in your cap, and all the idiots couldn't get it. They were like, feather in the map. They were like totally just friggin' tanking it. And then today during the High Noon show, I was talking about, it was trending because Wheel of Fortune was trending because of an episode last night where it was song lyrics, and it was sweet dreams are made of, James, would you like to try and solve the puzzle? Sweet dreams are made of
these.
I would have bet this is why it was trending, because everybody, you, me, and everybody else in the world thought it was sweet dreams are made of these.
Sure.
Who am I to disagree? The ease and disagree. That's the rhyme scheme right there. These disagree. That's the rhyme that Annie Lennox is singing. But James, that isn't the lyric. The lyric is sweet dreams are made of this.
Close enough.
No, the dude lost. They didn't give it to him. They gave him the because and the whole internet went nuts. They're like, "Are you kidding me?" All right, so that was trending today, but apparently tonight we are back in the idiot game with Wheel of Fortune because it's trending again tonight. And I saw it before we came on here, and I'm like, what, are they still arguing about the Eurythmics song? Is this still like a Sweet Dreams argument? And I click on it and I'm like, oh no, this is new. This one is as good as Feather in Your Lap. This one is just as good. Are you ready? Can I show it to you?
Why is it so fun to see people just fall on their face with stupidity like this? Why is this so enjoyable? Like, I shouldn't enjoy this.
Here's what I think is happening, James. And this is why, here's why we enjoy it. I'll tell you exactly why we enjoy it. Because we, in the moment, get to feel, no matter how terrible we feel.
On our own little pedestal, right?
Yes, man. It's the Jerry Springer phenomena. It's why Jerry Springer was such a successful show. Because unemployed people who weren't doing anything in the middle of the day and felt like absolute trash humans could put on Jerry Springer and for an hour feel superior. They could feel like, at least, I mean, and I'm not just, this isn't just me saying, Jerry Springer said that. That is Jerry Springer's explanation for the success of the show. And they kind of figured that out. Richard Dominic, who was the executive producer, and Jerry Springer figured that out early on and went, let's just make the losers who are watching daytime TV feel better about themselves by showing them even bigger
losers. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what it was. So I think that to some degree, that's what we're experiencing with Wheel of Fortune. And I think that maybe the producers of Wheel of Fortune understand this too. And so they're just, so here's tonight's Wheel of Fortune meltdown. This is all right. Well, you know what? We'll just watch it. We'll just watch it and y'all figure it out on your own, right? Okay, so here, wait, there's that. And again, now these are the sound isn't always great on these because it's somebody just recording it off their TV. That's just what's gonna happen when we get these stuff. Tomorrow there'll be a better version that's released officially. But these are just these are the people. Okay, so all right. Are you ready? Let's watch this.
What are you doing?
Anything else?
I'd like to solve.
Okay.
Renting a paddle boat.
No, that is.
Okay, that's good. Renting a paddle boat. That's not how you spell paddle, but okay. It sort of makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, renting a paddle boat.
Not correct. Sean, it's your turn.
He's gonna swing. He's gonna spin.
500. T. Yes, 2 T's.
Two T's. Look at him. All right. Renting a.
E. Mm-hmm. There
Okay.
are 2
Oh, my man knows. He knows. He's got it. Look at, he's got it.
A paddle boat.
Stop saying that, you idiots. Oh, man.
He said the same thing. He said the same thing that the woman just said that got it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not.
Oh, we ain't done, James.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
Technically, at $3,000, you can have to.
She's gonna spin again. She's gonna risk bankruptcy because she's not sure what this is. Oh!
600. What letter do you want?
M.
M. She went with an M.
Pet him.
A Petum boat.
Pet him boat.
Petum boat.
Crystal.
Then.
What? She's gonna spin?
900.
W.
It's not even a word. They'd be horrible at Scrabble, wouldn't they?
Another. A pedo boat. She's ready.
Pedal.
But okay, boat. Whatever. These people.
I like to solve. Go ahead. Renting a pedal boat. Yeah.
There he goes. Finally. Finally. I mean, come on, James. I mean, wait, why are you so small? I didn't realize you were so small. There you go.
You did that.
So there you have it. That's why Wheel of Fortune is now trending again for the second time today.
All right, so judging by this, the Wheel of Fortune should just start inviting in the mouth breathers of society. You know, like when they do when Jay Leno would do jaywalking, and he would ask them like, name the 3 Kardashian sisters, and they would name them all. He'd be like, who's the vice president of the United States? And they'd go, duh, right?
You mean they're not doing that already?
Well, the funny part is like I've actually been a guy that's just stopping people in the bar and asking them random questions, and people don't know crap.
No,
People
they don't. No, they don't.
And look, you and I keep up with stuff all day, every day, and we don't know crap. Like without looking it up, you might know this, but I bet you no one over here commenting without Googling it can tell me what is the name, first and last name of the second gentleman of the United States.
Oh, Jewish guy. Whoa, I'll get it.
Hey, don't feel bad. I didn't know until today when it was in a story because he tested positive for COVID or something.
Doug Emron. Doug, what is it?
It's Doug Emhoff.
Emhoff. Oh!
That's closer than I would have got it about 6 hours ago.
He's quiet. They keep him hidden.
Right. We don't know the spouse of the vice president of the United States, and we have to talk about this crap for like hours every day, and we're looking stuff up for other hours every day, and we're watching ridiculous copious amounts of news. So you think these other people, like voters and whatnot, really know what's going on? It's one of the great flaws of democracy. It's like, you get the government that you deserve, but you're going to get it good and hard.
Dude, the question that I always ask people is how many members of the Supreme Court are there? And nobody knows. Nobody can tell you how many people sit on the United States Supreme Court. Also, another one is how many people make up a jury? They never know.
Doesn't that change from state to state, though? Isn't there like some wiggle room on that?
I don't know. I thought it was 12. I thought it was always 12.
I know in like some civil cases it's like 6 or something.
But the other good one is whenever somebody gets into like a constitutional thing where they like, usually it's not a constitution because they never argue about the Constitution in the grand. They argue about specifics like the First Amendment or the Second Amendment. I always like to say, okay, so you're believing what's the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution? And then nobody knows. Nobody knows the third. Nobody knows anything.
Well, third is my favorite, so you're not going to catch me on that one. We did this before, quartering soldiers.
Right. Yeah, so you gotta let soldiers stay in your house. But
yeah, and I've chosen that one as the one I'm putting my flag on, so I don't have to do a whole lot. I don't have to get out and protest. I'm not blocking any highways or taking time off of work or anything. I escape a lot of criticism by being a Third Amendment advocate.
We can be so you do believe that soldiers should be able to just knock on your door and say we're going to sleep here tonight?
No. I'm a fierce defender. I'm a Third Amendment advocate.
Yes, that soldiers can't knock on your door. Okay.
Hell no, and I've got my eye on you, soldiers. You are not going to force yourself into the guest room of Americans on my watch.
If I invite you in, fine. But there's no way. Yeah, if I feel like, hey, maybe you guys could sleep on my floor, that's fine. But you're not just going to show up and say, I demand to be able to. Those are more. There's much simpler things that people should know that people don't know. Like one of them is like, what time zone is California on? You know, and most people don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Or like you find this out when you're talking to somebody and they say something like, well, wait a second, what time is it in Philadelphia? I'm like, okay, so you don't know about Eastern time zone. You don't know about people. There are simple everyday things that we take for granted as I think normal functioning human beings, that there's a good 70% of the people out there that if put on the spot, they can't answer these questions.
Yeah, and I have weird gaps in my knowledge. You used a turn of phrase yesterday that I'd never heard before. And so I just have to assume that there are big parts of like government and statecraft that I just have vacuums of I know nothing about.
Oh, I couldn't think of what it was. It's house tricks.
House tricks.
House tricks. James is here. House tricks. Yeah.
Fair to Midland? I don't know.
I have blind spots too. I have cultural blind spots. A lot of like I used to consider myself quite a student of the popular culture of modern America. And the last 15 years is a big blind spot. I don't know a lot of stuff. Like apparently there are megastars on the YouTube and the TikTok who I have no idea who they are. Those are big blind spots for me.
Yeah. Well, we've also seen a shading of the definition of megastar.
Well, have we? That's an interesting conversation to have because I can see how we would, based upon what our view of what constitutes celebrity would be.
Right, but
Movie star, music star. But, there
here's
are
the
people.
example, though. Here's the example. In 1964, there's not an American you could pull aside and be like, you know who Ed Sullivan is? And they'd be like, who? Like, that's a megastar where even old guys who haven't been paying attention to pop culture for the last 15 years,
Right.
Pugs, would know who they are. That's what a megastar is. So, Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, these people still count as megastars. And it's always been the big ceiling on what counts as a megastar is, do older people know them?
So here's a good example of this. Do you know who Pat McAfee is?
Pat McAfee from the Glenn Beck show?
No. I don't think so. No. Pat McAfee is probably the most influential sports pundit in sports radio today, not even sports radio, in sports today. Pat McAfee does a daily YouTube stream, the Pat McAfee Show. Breaks all kinds of records, breaks every big sports news. The guy is an absolute juggernaut. And people be like, well, he's just a YouTube guy. Pat McAfee's show does something like 10 times more viewers than SportsCenter. So, it's like if there's he gets 2 million people a day, and SportsCenter does their 10 o'clock SportsCenter is doing 500,000 or whatever it is. So, I just think that we are in a different time now where the avenues to become famous are much more. Whereas when you talked about Ed Sullivan, there was only 3 people on TV. There was Lucy, Ed Sullivan, and Dick Van Dyke. That was
talking horse or something.
Yes, and a talking horse. Yeah, that was it. So everybody only had these 3 things to watch, but now there's so many more. There are people who do YouTube shows nightly that do bigger audiences than the Tonight Show.
What about bigger than our show?
Bigger than our show, even, James.
Dang,
I know. Hey, man, that's why we're in this game. We're trying to get our little piece of the pie.
Yes.
All right. You want to do a monologue? Did you send something?
I do want to do a monologue, and I did send something, so yeah.
You did or you didn't?
I did. It's a short one, but
all right.
We'll get it done here.
2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome live into the Comfort Nest Lounge. Hold on. I got to pull up the monologue script right now. He's a guy. He does funny things. He's James Uhtred of Bevan Bear Parker.
Thank you. That was so nice of you. Oh, thank you, crowd, too. You're so sweet. Russia has blocked Instagram. It's a crippling blow to the Russian people who've already lost Facebook, and they're running out of ways to waste their time. That's right. All right. That's funny, though. Facebook was blocked, but they didn't block Instagram until a few days later. That was funny. They're owned by the same people. Anyway, USA Today has been has named Dr. Rachel Levine America's highest-ranking transgender official woman of the year. And congratulations to Dr. Rachel Levine. She has dreamed of being woman of the year ever since she was a little boy.
James told me he wanted me to do. He coached me to do a big laugh on that, and I said no.
Fine. Hey, while many students will be spending spring break at the beach, there's this new trend, Pugs. Have you seen this where the students are volunteering, doing volunteer work for their spring break? It seems noble. I don't want to brag, but when I was a student on spring break, I volunteered to judge a bikini contest.
That's what he did.
It's pretty noble. All right. The State Department is warning Americans against traveling to Ukraine. They say it's so bad it's even more dangerous than Chicago. Oh,
hard for you up here, people. Come on.
All right, tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. I know you're excited about this, Pugs. It's officially recognized by the Roman Catholic Church, the Church of Ireland, Jameson, and Guinness. And Pugs. And finally, happy birthday to Nancy Wilson of Heart. I don't want to say she's getting old, but she has a new band. They're called Heart Condition.
Oh, my God.
You know what I think of sometimes is like when they dig through the annals of history, I'm going to have descendants that are looking me up. Because have you done this where you look up like your family as far back as you can? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I
Yeah.
want to know more about them. This has got to be so cool. I mean, this is where I came from. This is my history. This is my lineage. And it's just like tobacco farmer, corn farmer, tobacco farmer. You know, like there's nothing really cool that pops up. But like 4 generations, 5 generations, 1,000 years from now, people are going to look up the Parker lineage and they're going to be this a-hole and his sorry jokes is all they're going to find, right?
James, I do not have that experience with my lineage. In fact, when you look at my family and their ancestral path, we have been doing
They're
nothing.
ancestral?
No, ancestral, not
Oh, my
ancestral.
bad.
We have been doing nothing but deteriorating since we go all the way back to like the 1600s in France when we were the lords of St. Alban. We owned land in France, and
That didn't sound very Irish, Pugs.
well, I know. It got very upsetting when we learned that in like the 14th century or 15th century, we were a part of a group of people from St. Albans in France who emigrated to Ireland. And now that we've been in Ireland for like 400 years, so you're 300 years or something like that.
So the Frenchy grossness evaporated
French
off.
grossness is gone. But we were big landowners in France. We were
Okay.
Saint Alban in France, and then they moved to Ireland and they changed the name to Saint Aubin in Ireland. It became Saint Aubin, and they were still the lords. And in fact, that's where the family name of Tobin comes from. Tobin is a mix of Saint Aubin, Saint Tobin. It became
St.
Tobin.
Tobin.
Yeah. And then I believe in 1847, the potato famine, when the Protestants came in and stole all our family's land and all that kind of stuff, and we all starved. That's when they came to America. But yeah, so we have been slowly deteriorating. We started out great. We were knights. You should see we've got a cool ass family crest. It's got all kinds of cool stuff. We were lords, the lords of St. Alban. We were badass. We were landowners. We had vassals who did our bidding and all that kind of stuff. And then and you can still go to Ireland and you can still see, you can still go to the Tobin Estates. And as a matter of fact, you can look it up. I'll pull up a picture. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow for St. Patrick's Day. I'll show you the Tobin Estate.
That'd be a great St. Patrick's Day.
And you can still see all that stuff. So I got to take my.
Look, and I'm not trying to rain on your parade here, but it grows exponentially. So when you go back a generation, you have 2 ancestors. When you go back a generation, you got 4, and then 8. So it keeps doubling. So as many branches of the tree that you can get, and like if you go back 8 generations or something, we're talking about how many ancestors? Like 64 different families, and for me, not one of them was winners. Right?
Somewhere along the line.
I keep trying to go back. I mean, the closest thing I can find to any level of success is I have one ancestor in Tennessee through one branch of the tree that had like 9 slaves in the 1850 census. So I'm like, well, he wasn't broke, at least, like the rest of them. He wasn't poor.
At least.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of what he did, but there's evidence he wasn't a complete loser. He's just kind of evil.
Hold on, wait a second. I got something good I could share with you here. Although Google isn't helping me out. Let me show you my guy. Where's my guy? Hold on. He's a great ancestor.
Well, my ancestors are disappointing, and it's not getting much better because, like, if I haven't flowered by now, that ship has pretty much sailed.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There he is. This is our guy.
You found him? All right, cool.
I found him. Hold on. This is a great cousin something. I don't know. We're not entirely sure. This guy, Liam Tobin, you see him there? Look at him there. You know who this guy was? This guy, my relative, he was the director of intelligence for the IRA during the 1916 Easter Uprising. He is a great Irish hero from the war. He was Michael Collins's right-hand guy. He was the head of intelligence. That's pretty cool.
Okay, that sounds fantastic.
That's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. My son thinks it's pretty cool. And also, in the movie Michael Collins, in the movie Michael Collins, he is portrayed by none other than the great Brendan Gleeson. Look at that. Liam Tobin, Historica. Brendan Gleeson played my relative in the
Oh, look at
in the film
that.
Michael Collins.
No
That's
way.
great.
He's actually depicted in a movie, huh?
Oh yeah, by Brendan Gleeson, by a great actor, not like just some like he's in like one scene and then gone. No, if
It's not
you've
like
never
Matthew Lillard or something.
no, you've never seen Michael Collins, have you? You're not Irish. It's
I have 3 branches of my tree that I trace back to Ireland, but they all got out of there in the 1860s and 1870s.
well, you're Parker, so you're English and French.
Well, my dad's
that's
dad is
right. But the origins of the name Parker is it's
absolutely
classic
English.
Norman English. Yeah, English and French. There's like French in there at the origin, but then Parker is the like anglicized version of what would be the French name. It's just
Yeah. Yeah, so I've got Gallaghan's, O'Byrne's with the
Oh,
and everything in it,
yeah.
and McCluskey's. They all go back, but again, they left 1860s, 1870s.
Wait a second, James. Is it a McCluskey or a McCluskey?
Oh, it's just a Mick. It's
Okay,
MC,
you're Irish.
not
There you
MAC.
go, then you're Irish.
It's not Scottish. I know
I'm
you're gonna get.
Scottish. Oh yeah.
But one of those, he may have been an Ulster Scot. I think that Galahad may have been from Northern Ireland. Not, is it Londonderry or is it Derry Pugs? I know I'm stepping in something there.
Oh, it's Derry. Of course, it's Derry. It's not you Ulster piece of shit.
Yeah, so right outside of that is a small town called Limavady, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I've only read it. So Limavady, and that is well within kind of Protestant areas now, but we're talking about 1860, so we don't know what it was back then, and I don't know. The one that I found was actually the native Irish is the O'Byrne, and he got ran out of there for fighting against the English, and he wasn't supposed to have guns.
Oh, that's good, because it sounded to me like your ancestors were cowardly and they bent the knee. But
I've got both of them. I have both.
You got both sides, huh?
Yeah, on that same conflict, I have both sides. But the O'Byrne that came over here, the one that I have the most records on, they ran him out of town for gun control. There's a gun control law that he was in violation of. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. That's my great grandfather. And
Brits
so then he
didn't want him to have guns. Brits didn't want him
for obvious reasons. Apparently, we were good shots.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes to New York. They have the no mix signs, and so
Irish need not apply.
So he hears that if you're Irish, they'll give you a job in New Orleans. So he takes a boat around to New Orleans, and it's cool because I stayed in New Orleans for 16 years. And then he found out that what he did back in Ireland was he was a lumberjack logging, and they were logging in East Texas. So he took a skiff up the Red River with some dude that was starting a business, and so he became a lumberjack in East Texas, and that's how my family got here. But it was like East Texas by way of New Orleans, and then I had sort of the same trajectory. My family stayed here. I went down to New Orleans for a while, and came back. It's cool to kind of do that same path.
I love the family research stuff. You just mentioned this. The Irish need not apply. People don't understand this. People think that we're just white people. We're not. We're like the worst of the white people as far as other white people are concerned.
Oh no, that's Italians, man. Italians are the lowest.
No, dude, Italians aren't even white people. Stop it. Italians are not white people. I'm sorry. There is no white person from that area of Europe who believes that Italians are white people. Greeks aren't white people. Spaniards aren't white people. That's just how like the English, the Germans, and the Norse and all these people saw. The French are barely white people. The French
they're pushing it, right?
Yes, the French are pushing it. But no, there's no way. My grandfather would never have considered an Italian guy a white
Oh my God. That level of racism is exhausting. It's like, who am I allowed to be friends with? Just give me the list who I can be friends with, because y'all basically X'd out everyone else.
Germans, Dutch, some Eastern Europeans,
the Frisians,
maybe the French if they have money, the Swiss, the Scots,
all the Scandinavians, right? Y'all like blonde people?
All of them. Oh okay. Yeah, all the Norse. No Irish though. The Irish are, as we're commonly referred to, the blacks of Europe. That's what we Irish were called.
I'm sure the blacks appreciate that.
Well, I guess. Imagine how the Irish felt, because they were also probably fairly racist. I imagine they didn't like that one bit. That's the famous line in The Commitments. Have you ever seen the movie The Commitments, about the guys from working class Dublin who form a blues band? And everybody's like, you can't be a blues band. What do you know about rhythm and blues? And then the great line is what are you talking about? We're Irish. and then they use the N word, we're the ends of Europe. We know as much about the blues as anybody. But yeah, we were oppressed. We were oppressed people. It's fine. We might be white of skin, but we were oppressed. We were held down and we were considered less than. We were enslaved. They attempted to colonize us and we fought back and never quite worked out. Except for those people up there in what James so flippantly recalled that Londonderry. Those people, those people got conquered. Not the people in my part of the country.
Well, I find that that little sliver of Celtic culture that's left, that is, Scotland, Ireland, I guess Wales sort of counts, and that there's like that little
absolutely
strip of Cornwall where they still speak some Cornish
Mhm.
version of the old Gaelic language, and then maybe the Basque people still count. But most of Europe was conquered by this swath of Celts that came through, and then all the other migrations that came over it kind of replaced it. But the old people were just kept on the very edges of Europe, and so you're like in Game of Thrones, they're like, they call us the children, but we were here long before they were.
That's the Celts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Celts have been around forever. The Celts have been. The Celts didn't really win anything. They just moved further because the Celts originated in France in that area.
Well, you can say that, but the Celts beat whoever was there before they were. They weren't the first human beings to walk there. They just completely wiped out who was there before them.
They were kind of a nomadic people, though. They didn't really have any one place where they lived. They were in the area of France, and then the Roman army started pushing them further and further out, and they settled in the British Islands. And then they got all the way to Ireland, which was as far as you could go, and they were pretty safe there. So Ireland and like the worst parts of Scotland, they were kind of safe there because the Roman army just went, we don't need to go any farther. They just the Vikings came.
Right. Okay.
Changed.
But you can trace it in reverse if you go back a couple thousand years from, before Julius Caesar and all that. The Phoenicians started in the Middle East, and they like made Carthage, and they even came around and they made Lisbon in Portugal, what's now Lisbon in Portugal. So the coasts have always been sort of Mediterranean, but inland, even in the Iberian Peninsula in Spain, that was dominated by Celtic culture. The Carthaginians never took really the inland of Spain. They just kept the coast. And the Romans, they actually took the inland of Spain, but they were dealing with Celtic people then. And so what became Spanish was a mishmash of sort of Celtic and Roman more than anything else, except for this little sliver of the Basque people. I think they still retain a lot of that Celtic culture.
I talked about a couple of days ago. It was last week. It was National Women's Day, and I gave my list of the 5 greatest women in the history of women, and one of them was Boudica, who was the Celtic queen, who actually stood up against the Romans. She got slaughtered for it, but she actually stood up against the Romans. So when I think of like the Romans and the Celts, being of Celtic blood myself, I think that it's safe to say that we cut bait and ran. The Romans were a machine. We put up a fight, but Boudica certainly did. But we, for the most part,
they were so well organized. They kept records. And walked in straight columns and crazy things like that.
Well, actually, there's the Romans. You mean?
Yes.
Or were you talking about the Celts?
Not the Celts. Oh no.
The Celtic records. Any Celtic records that are in existence are like few and far between, and that's because of St. Patrick. When St. Patrick came from Rome to bring Christianity to Ireland, which is the whole purpose of St. Patrick, that's why we celebrate his day. They say St. Patrick chased the snakes out of Ireland. No, he didn't. There were no snakes in Ireland. There are not snakes in Ireland. Snakes don't exist in Ireland. It's not a climate.
Well, why do you think they're not there, Pugs?
Well, the snakes are a metaphor for the pagans. What St. Patrick did was he brought Christianity and he chased the pagans out. And part of the deal with St. Patrick was they destroyed any historical record of the Celtic civilization because they were tree worshiping pagans.
So how are you so hardcore pro-Catholic now that they wiped out your ancient culture?
Just wondering what about me leads you to think I'm hardcore pro-Catholic? I'm a lapsed Catholic. I was beaten and abused Catholic, but as an adult, I am certainly not a practicing Catholic.
But I don't mean on Sunday morning. I mean that it's not Londonderry, it's Derry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Protestants. I'm Catholic Irish. I'm the real thing. Well, you're not the real thing.
I'm culturally Catholic. That's what I say. I'm culturally Catholic. Like,
can you be culturally Irish and Catholic? Isn't there like a hint of authenticity? That's not even a word.
No, there's a lot of Irish who are just culturally Catholic. They don't. I mean, there's also a lot of really hardcore Catholicism, but in any sort of population, you're gonna have hardcore religious and then people who just go along because they don't want to fight about it. You know what I mean? Like culturally Catholic means you go for the you go for the pomp and the circumstance of midnight mass. Maybe you show up for Palm Sunday. You send your kids to Catholic school, but you don't really expect them to be like hardcore Catholic adherents all throughout their life. Yeah, that's culturally Catholic. I like the pomp and circumstance. I like I like the big hats and the robes in the creepy Gothic churches. That stuff's cool.
Okay, so where do the Pictish fit into your understanding of the Celtic past?
The who?
The Pictish people.
Yeah, I don't know.
P-I-C-T?
That's a new one on me. I don't know the Pictish people unless I.
That's like the okay. So they were depicted in the Robin Hood with Kevin Costner. That was the people that Alan Rickman had hired to come beat up Robin Hood.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
North Scotland, the Picts. Anyway, I figured you'd have some strong opinions about that.
You know who you did mention who don't get any love globally, but are really some pretty hardcore people, and that's the people in Wales. Like the people in Wales, the Welsh people are sort of like the forgotten people in that part of the world. They're not England. They like got their own country right in the middle of England. How did that happen? How come there aren't these stories of glory about the Welsh people fighting you know what I mean? I mean, that should be England. That's like right there.
Well, I mean, it kind of is now, but the Welsh people are funny because of what you just pointed out, that England can take over like 1/4 of the landmass of the globe, but they can't even fortify their entire island, right?
Yes, and they can't conquer the people next door, Ireland. They can do India, which is massive.
Right, got a bazillion people.
They can control 60% of Africa in the 1700s, but they can't conquer Wales and they can't control the people in Ireland.
Well, they have an island that's like a third the size of Texas, and they can't even map that whole thing out. Yeah, I find that adorable because it keeps happening over and over too. Because the Welsh are there, and then the Angles show up, and they take this whole bottom half of the island, but the Welsh beat them back after they beat everyone else, the Britons over there. And so then things start going bad, and saying they invite their Saxon brethren, the Angles do. So then the Saxons come, and they're kind of the dominant force. And they kick everybody's butt, but the Welsh. And so then the Angles or Saxons are having invasions from the Vikings, the Danes or whatever. And they beat the crap out of everybody, but they can't beat the Welsh. And so it just keeps happening over and over that whoever comes over there and beats the crap out of the main part of England, they never get that little chunk that's sticking off to the side of Wales.
They don't. And we know nothing. That's a mysterious land. Like Wales is like, what's the capital of Wales? Can you know?
Cardiff.
Right, but nobody knows Cardiff.
Nobody knows that. No one knows that.
Nobody's ever heard of the Swansea area of Cardiff. Nobody knows that stuff, but that's a real place. And have you ever seen pictures of pull up some pictures of Cardiff? Like go.
Here's what I know about Wales: it has more sheep than human beings.
Okay, all right,
that's it.
But Cardiff, pull up pictures of the city of Cardiff. I mean, I've been all over England. I've been all over Ireland. I've never been to Wales. And every time I see pictures of Cardiff, I'm like, that looks like a magical princess kingdom. That's right. Go to. Cardiff looks awesome. And it's like a major city. And it seems like it's on par with a London or a Dublin. But nobody ever goes to Cardiff. I don't know anyone who has ever been. I don't know anybody that's ever even mentioned Cardiff before. And it's like a real big city right there, probably 100, 150 miles away from London. And it just gets no global play. Nobody talks about Cardiff.
All right, now I got to look up a little bit of Cardiff action here. So Cardiff itself, the capital of Wales, for how independent it may be. They say the city was founded in 1905. That can't be right.
Maybe under that name, but it's been around for 1,000 years, I'm sure.
Okay, so they're saying the metro area is about 1 million people. The city itself is a little under 400,000. So it's about the size of a New Orleans. That's the same stats on New Orleans, 400,000 people in the city itself. The metropolitan area is a little over 1 million.
You got any pictures of it, though? The city looks amazing. It's got like these old, fancy, middle-aged castles and then like new modern skyscrapers. It's just a very cool-looking city. And I don't understand why it doesn't get any more play than it should. Looks like
Okay. I think I got a decent one here. Let me go do that share screen thing. Hang on, because it's a solid mix of some of this stuff that looks amazing, and then some of this other stuff that looks like new, some that looks old. And where did my picture go? Is it this one? No one told you to stop doing that. Hang on, let me go find it again. Sorry, I didn't mean to lose it. That's a good one right there. All right. Yeah, there it goes. How do we get on to Cardiff again?
I don't know. I just mentioned it as being a place that like nobody talks about. That seems like a pretty cool city. Here,
Well,
let me show you this. Here's a picture of this. Like sums up Cardiff. This looks awesome. Look at this. Look at that. What is that?
yeah, right. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, so I pulled up.
It's like a super old timey church, and then there's like this giant modern sports arena right behind it. All right, let's see this.
It's probably like a soccer arena, like that. Very old stuff with very new stuff.
Yeah.
That is cool. That looks great.
I don't know. I just it's on my bucket list. I want to go to Cardiff just because I don't think anybody's ever been to Cardiff. Bill Falk says Lemmy is from Cardiff. That's how he knows about it.
What, from Motorhead?
Lemmy from Motorhead, the late great Lemmy. Fast Outdoor Side says I stayed in a place in Dingle, Ireland. The owner owed a large amount of oceanfront. She helped Bill Gates start Microsoft. In my opinion, Dingle or Kinsale are the best places in Ireland. I've been to both Dingle and Kinsale, and fast outdoor food would not be wrong. However, I am partial to Galway and Killarney. So those are my two favorite. I'm a Dublin guy. I mean, I love Dublin. I love the big city. But when you get out of the big city, Killarney, the Ring of Kerry, and then Galway. But Dingle is one. Waterford, oh my God, the entire country is just awesome. There's a pub everywhere. If you just want to go on a vacation where you want to see cool old stuff for like 2 hours and then spend 4 hours in a pub talking to locals about the cool stuff you saw, go to Ireland, because that's all you do. You look at something, you go, that's awesome, and then you go, let's go to the pub. And then you sit at some pub and some nice Irish man feeds you beers and you talk to them, and then people come up to you and they're like, oh, you're American. Like, yeah. Oh, you know Bob, because they all think like we know their cousins, because there's only 5 people in America. That happened a number of times. Oh, where are you from? From Chicago. Oh, my cousin Bob is in Chicago. Yeah, I don't know Bob. There's a lot of Bobs. All right, there you go. That's your pre-St. Patrick's Eve, Ireland, Wales, Cardiff, London, Celtic appreciation conversation.
What are you doing for St. Patrick's Day tomorrow?
Nothing. I'm doing the high noon show. Nothing. I'm not doing anything. You got any plans? Are you going? Is there a celebration? Are you going out to a bar?
I got a dentist appointment, and I've got 4 kids on spring break, so I'm not doing anything.
So probably not doing a whole lot of drinking.
No.
I don't even think I'll have a beer. I don't normally have a beer. I don't. I would like to go to a bar. That would be fun. Like if there was a reason, like if somebody called me tomorrow afternoon after the show and said, hey,
like if you had friends or something.
Yes, but I don't have friends, and I don't, that's not something that's in the cards for me. No one's going to call me and say, hey, let's go out and have a beer this afternoon for St. Patrick's Day. I would totally do that, but I don't see that happening. I don't, Jefferson Glenwright the Fourth says my family built Bar Castle in Renfrewshire, Scotland. It's pretty ghetto as far as castles go. Yeah, but you guys still have a castle and it's still there. That's James Parker's dream. James Parker's dream is to build something that sticks around for generations and generations.
1,000 years at least. I know it sounds ridiculous, but there's a whole lot of stuff that was built in like 1400 that's still standing. Like if you go to the street view on some of these old Irish towns that we've been talking about, because I've done that. I've walked around some of these old towns in the Google Street View. There's a lot of stuff from like 1400 and 1500. And you got to understand that these things were built by illiterate people with crappy tools and no technology.
They're just stacking blocks. That's all they're doing. They're sticking blocks together and hoping it stands. And it did. And a lot of those places, like in London, they survived the Blitzkrieg. They survived, hundreds of years of, uprisings and all kinds of like civil wars and stuff like that. And they're still there.
Sure. Well, and the lesson you learn from that is what are the buildings that were built 1,000 years ago that are still standing? What are they made of? Are they made of wood? Oh, hell no. Are they made of like drywall or the glass that's shining in downtown Dallas? No, they're made out of big stones.
Rocks.
Rocks. Rocks will withstand anything. So even if the whole town burns down, your little castle or whatever apartment building that you've made is still going to be there. Another thing I've noticed walking around in the street view in Ireland and England, and I've seen this in other countries, is their street lines aren't always straight. What's up with that?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever noticed that.
All right, here. Let me do a share screen then, because you've been there, and I think maybe when you see what I'm talking about, you'll get it. Do this one.
Okay.
See how those lines are squiggly?
Oh yeah, look at that.
The hell's on with that? I don't understand that, and I know it's just my stupid American ignorance. Someday someone's gonna have an answer for me.
I don't know, but the most white-knuckled drive that I ever experienced in my life was in Ireland when we drove the Ring of Kerry, because the roads, first of all, it's on the other side of the road, so everything's backwards. If you're in America, I rented a car.
Oh, I would never get used to that.
Oh, you don't. You don't. Your instincts, you have to fight every instinct that you have in driving, checking blind, all that stuff. It's
like, aren't you constantly going, oh my God, I'm on the right side of the road.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other thing is, yes, James, especially when you're driving for like 3 hours and
you'll just settle in and you'll look up and be like, whoa, I need to swerve over.
This isn't normal.
Yeah.
And we were driving, it was over Christmas. It was probably like December the 27th. And it was a little rainy and slick because it was winter there. And we're riding on these mountain roads that wind along the shore with the waves crashing in and the rocks. And we're high up on the lead. There's no guardrails. And I'm driving on the wrong side. And it was so embarrassing because I was such an American. I don't do kilometers or whatever. I don't know what speed I'm supposed to be going. So I'm going really slow in this rented car. And I've got like old men in like 40-year-old pickup trucks with chickens in the back, just like whipping around me and honking at me like I'm driving too slow. I was a menace. I was white-knuckled the entire time. It was the worst. Talk about needing a drink at the hotel when you got back from that. It was awful. The other thing, you want to hear another funny story about renting a car in Ireland? Okay, so I rent this car in Ireland. It was an Opel Astra.
And is the steering wheel on the other side?
Yep. Well, yeah, everything's really, it's all opposite.
Cool.
Dude, I had to get gas. I had to get gas as soon as I rented the car. That's a whole nother thing. They do gas different there. I had no idea how to put gas in the car. It's different. I don't know. It's different. It's just different. I don't remember specifically what it was, but I remember going, okay, first of all, I was on the wrong side. I was turned around. It was all bad. But then, so it's a stick shift. And I'm like, I can drive a stick shift. I know how to drive a stick shift. This isn't a problem. So I pull up to get the gas, and then the gas was not where I thought it was going to be. So I had to move the car, and I had to put the car in reverse. Now, remember, this is the first gas station you see after the airport. So I just left the rental car place at the airport. Hadn't needed to use reverse yet. Pull into the gas station, and I see that I need to back up now and get in a better position to fill up the tank. James, did you know that European cars, their reverse on a stick shift is not the same as an American reverse?
It's not like all the way to the right and down, because that's the standard. Oh, you went the wrong way?
No, it's not. It's not even like that. Reverse on an Opel Astra, and it took me, oh my God, it took me like 20 minutes, and I got the book out of the glove box, and I'm looking for it. And that is such a basic thing that it's not even in the book. So finally, I had to ask a dude at the gas station, and he treated me, I'm with my new wife, and he's treating me like I'm like just emasculating me. What do you mean you don't know reverse? I go, I don't know how to get it in reverse. In Europe, in these Opel Astras, was Jeff says to the left and up. Jeff, you would be 100% wrong. No, it is not. It is sort of. So reverse on an Opel Astra in a European car is you have the stick right here, right? Here's what you do. You have to pull it up. It like springs up, and then All right, maybe Jeff is right. Maybe it is then to the left, but it's not like a regular stick or like an American stick. You pull it up, it actually pops up, and you have to pull it back. I didn't know it.
Oh no! Did it have the two little finger hooks on either side of the pole? Because my aunt had like a Trans Am or Camaro or something like that in the 80s with the T-tops, and she used to have to pull something else up to put it in reverse.
I have no idea. I don't
So
know.
that must be the norm in Europe. They're a little behind on their transmissions or differentials or whatever.
It was awful. The other thing that I remember was that gas was so expensive compared to America.
Yeah, the only driving experience I've had outside of America, you're nailing just about everything, except for in Mexico, you still drive on the right side of the road, and so I didn't have to do the freak out thing.
Is gas like super expensive in Mexico?
Yeah, first off, when I went, I was like, that's a little more expensive, but that's about the same. And they're like, that's in liters. I'm like, what's a liter?
That's a quart. That's like about a quart, not a gallon.
Yeah, so like when I went, I went for my wife's cousin was getting married, and so we went to a wedding, and so I was down there for a whole week. And so, what was gas like in America? It was like $2.50, $3 at the time, and at the gas station in Mexico, it was like $4.25, $4.50.
Yeah, well, that was my thing in Ireland.
Everything was a Pemex. They have like some sort of monopoly going.
This first trip was 1997. So if let's say gas was like $1.99, let's just say it hadn't crossed $2 yet in America. So in 97, if it was $1.99 in America, it was like $3.50 in Ireland. And I was like, what? Why the hell is gas so much more? I mean, I don't know what gas must be there now, but I don't know.
So I remember in the city, if you were going to gas up, if you went to a station that was right by the airport, it'd be like $11 a gallon. If you got out in the country, it was more like $8 a gallon.
Yeah, you get the tourists. You get the tourists with the rental cars. You bilk them. All right, we're about out of time today. I did want to mention a couple of things though before you jump out the way you are always jumping out.
I love it. Yeah.
Did you hear about Jussie Smollett?
What, he is in the psych ward, or he went to jail because he's black? Is there new news besides that?
Oh yeah,
that's the last two things I've heard.
Oh yeah. Well, he spent the first 5 days in the psych ward, and then he spent the 6th day. He was moved to Gen Pop, where he was going to have a regular cell and a regular bed, and he was there for approximately 5 hours, and he's been released. Jussie Smollett is out of prison. He has been released after 6 freaking days. Jussie Smollett, we all thought we had him. We thought that's, oh my God, he's going to jail. Nope, Jussie Smollett is not in jail. He has been released. But Jussie Smollett is released while he awaits appeal. They apparently fast-tracked an appeal. They got to another court today. And the judges in this other court said, because the argument that was made was, by the time he gets his appeal hearing, he will have already served the 5 months in prison, and that constituted some kind of unfair something. So these Jussie Smollett was released Wednesday from Chicago's Cook County Jail less than a week after the former Empire star was sentenced to 150 days behind bars for lying to police about staging his own hate crime. Let's see. Live video from WGN showed Smollett walking out of jail surrounded by bodyguards at about 8 p.m. So that was just an hour before we signed on. His attorney told reporters on the scene that Smollett, an Illinois appeals court voted 2-1 to allow Smollett to go free on $150,000 recognizance bond while he appeals his conviction. Smollett won't have to pay that amount, but agrees to appear in court as ordered. So there you have it. That's justice. But I will say this. This will be something you can use on your right-wing conservative radio audience. I'm sure they'll love it.
Okay.
This kind of throws a dart right in the white privilege balloon, doesn't it?
But we all know that balloon got popped by O.J. Simpson back in 1995 or whatever.
White privilege, it's money privilege.
And we all know it's not white, it's not black. The real power is green, and we're all better off for it. At least we're not being run by a bunch of psycho racists. At least they're just going after money like regular old psycho people.
He has, so he's out. So Jussie Smollett is out, and he's probably partying it up tonight in one of Chicago's famous bathhouses. houses that he was known to frequent. That's where he like hung out with the Ogabalungala.
What the hell is a bathhouse? Is that really a thing, or are y'all like snipe hunting me? Like that's really a thing?
Oh yeah.
Because people say bathhouse. What do? They go there, they take a bath.
Dude, we talked about this. I don't know.
I know, but look,
Dude,
y'all say bathhouse, and I can't picture anything in my head. I can picture like the sauna at the Wood Creek Athletic Club.
Oh, well, okay. Hell, hold on, James. I'll show you some pictures. I'll show you some pictures of Dallas's bathhouse because we did this. We did this a couple of months back on this show.
Well, then why didn't we do a bit with the bathhouse in Dallas? Y'all could have sent me in there with the microphone. I would have got audio for days.
All right, hold on. Dallas bathhouse. Here's what they look like. So, no, that's not it. That's not
well, luckily they got him out of there before he committed suicide or whatever.
So in Chicago, it turns out that there are a bunch of bathhouses because all of these came out during the Jussie Smollett trial. And apparently the picture, I can't find any good pictures, but in Dallas, there are also bathhouses. So what is a bathhouse? We've gone through this. We had people explain it to us.
I know what a Roman bathhouse is, but I don't think it's the same thing.
Yeah, basically the same thing, just with gay men. So a bathhouse is a place that as a gay man, you go to in a city. And you walk in, and apparently you have to pay a cover charge, and you get, I guess you get like a locker and whatever, and you change, you get rid of your clothes, and you just walk around naked, and everybody's walking around naked. And there are hot tubs, and there are saunas, and then apparently there are also little private rooms, just in case you need to lay down and relax because the heat is getting to you. And it's like super hot, and it's like a sauna, and it's just filled with dance music. Like there's just like it seems very Silence of the Lambs, like, do I look sexy? Like it's got a very kind of that kind of vibe. Remember when
but look,
between his thighs?
I am jealous because one of the advantages of being gay is you can put all the gay people in the same room and no one's going to get necessarily jealous. They can all be attracted to each other. You can't do that with heterosexuality.
No.
You can't do that. If you put, half men, half women in a room, I'm only attracted to like half of them because I'm into girls. But you stick gay guys, everyone's on the menu. Everyone at the gay bathhouse is on the menu. You go to like, Sandals Resort, or you go on a cruise ship, or you go to a regular club or health club or sauna or whatever, and only half of the people are on the menu. Gay, just everyone, everything.
As I understand it, yeah, it's just a sexual free-for-all with everybody walking around naked, and you can do anything.
And they're all dudes. They're all dudes because every hint of regulation that comes from heterosexual sex usually comes from the females. Like, let's do it tonight. Oh, I don't feel like it. No, come on, how about we do something sexual in public, or how about we do something in the parking lot, or how about we go in the handicap stall, or how about you give me a handy in the handicap bleachers or whatever. It's always the guy coming with and the girl is the voice of reason. It's like, no, this is not appropriate, or we'll do it later, or I'm not in the mood, or whatever the excuse is. I just ate, whatever it is. But you go into the gay world, everyone's like, sure, you've got one of those. Yes, I do.
Like, could you imagine? Like, there could never be a heterosexual bathhouse where, like, because no women would go. First of all, it'd be like way too gross. And the women that did go would be prostitutes, and it would just be a whole bunch of prostitution going on in there. But with like gay dudes, if like a gay dude is horny, he just goes down to the bathhouse and he can have random,
this just does the helicopter until someone shows up and takes this thing out of his hand.
Yeah, I guess that's it. And it's not just like, oh, that must just be the creepiest of the creepy. No, it's like gay men from all walks of life. Judges, lawyers, doctors, television stars like Jussie Smollett. I mean,
apparently so, yeah, and his bodybuilding friends.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about being gay is your partner is as horny as a guy is. Right? That's what we've all dreamed about. It's like if only my significant other was into as often as me into sex. It's the greatest thing any guy's looking for. So yeah.
Let me give me a second here. Just bear with me. Let me see if there's somebody just put in. I want to see what it looks like. I don't know that I've.
See, Mr. Dookie Pie says Gas Monkey Garage is a front for a gay bathhouse. You mean the Gas Monkey that's like kind of hanging off the edge of Deep Ellum into Fair Park? Because I've been to that place, and if there's a gay bathhouse behind it, I did not see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not up on my... All right, so this seems to be a depiction Although these guys are wearing pants. I don't think people wear pants in them. But look, it looks very opulent, doesn't it? Look at it. Looks like oh, is
Well,
it
of course it's going to be decorated well. To be ridiculous.
This is a Philadelphia gay bathhouse. Look very, very, very discreet. You walk in and all hell breaks loose. Oh, there's some dudes just hanging out, sunning themselves. It looks like there's an outdoor patio at this one. Oh, there you go. This is what I imagine. Look at these dudes. There's vending machines.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's no, all right. I see what you're saying there.
Dude,
But there's no heterosexual equivalent. There's not a club I can go into where there's just a bunch of naked women walking around and they're all
that's not
horny.
legal. Like look at these guys. These guys are just hanging out in their bathhouse. Dude, that looks like a 70s bathhouse.
Why? Because the color's black and white?
No, because the dude's smoking indoors.
Oh, good point. Good point. Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought.
Could have just been an Instagram filter, Parker.
All right, some dude showering. Not a whole lot of nudity. Yeah, he looks like a
good thing.
Bathhouse Denzi. Yeah, I mean, if it was heterosexual, somehow it would be legal. This must be how you sign up or you go in. Oh God, it looks like a sex shop, doesn't it? It just looks gross. It looks seedy. But some of the inside, some of them look okay. Okay, very discreet, outdoor. What is this? Private club and spa for men. Memories. That's in Las Vegas.
Oh no, memories you want to erase is what that looks like.
That doesn't look good. This place looks kind of danky.
Who wants herpes? Yeah.
Go hang out with these guys.
Oh, you working out? Was that for me? You're working out for me? Thank you. Appreciate all the work you've done there.
Oh, look at this. All right, so that dude's naked. The guy in the middle, he looks naked. He's looking. These guys are getting into something.
Yeah. All right. Well, worst ending to a show ever.
Oh, what is going on here? What?
They're praying. They're praying.
Are they praying?
Yeah. See, what you do is when you go in, that you sign up and you have your prayer request. Like my dad just got out of the hospital. He's been having heart problems. So in the prayer request list, you can say, "My father is having heart complications," and then they pray for him in the hot tub. They were just three of them were praying at the same time for the one guy's dad.
They were. The other guy was trying to see the TV.
It's probably like a Christian thing, like a religious thing.
These guys, okay, I guarantee you that the only reason these guys are covered is because somebody was like, "Oh, I'm going to take a picture, so let's cover it up," because maybe being naked is
because no one gets in the floaty in the pool and like, let me put a towel over my junk. Yeah,
not at a bathhouse.
No, not at a bathhouse.
I mean, let's see anything else. First time gay sauna Okay, I don't know what that means. I don't.
Yes, you do. You just don't want to stop on it.
First of all.
Yeah, and I'm getting the hell out of this show.
How often are they cleaning these things? You know what I mean? I mean, sure, it's empty here, but it's like
they just get the Dallas Fire Department to come in with their little fire hose and just blast it every once in a while.
That's enough. That's a gay dudes. Good on you, man. You
on that one later. Gay guys, you're lucky.
Yeah. One last thing I want to mention to you, James, because this broke late tonight, and it is going to send shockwaves.
Jussie Smollett got out of jail.
Not all of us. Not all of us can be all that upset about. Can be into or interested in the whole gay bathhouse discussion that we just got into. But this is a breaking news story that is going to affect virtually everybody I know. It's going to affect me personally. It's going to affect James. Netflix has announced they are cracking down on password sharing.
Yeah, they should. They're just leaving $1 billion on the table whenever they decide to do this.
If you are not in the address, the residence with the address that is attached to the Netflix account, you will now you have to pay an upcharge. They're not going to completely cut you off, but like me, I don't really have Netflix. My mom's got Netflix. I watch Netflix on my mom's account.
Well, you don't have it anymore, do you?
1,000 miles away. And Netflix hasn't. But here's what they've said. Starting tomorrow, they're going to roll out this new thing where they're going to start stopping people who are watching Netflix who are not at the address where the account is listed. But they're going to start in Chile and Peru. So we're okay. They're not going to go with America just yet. They're going to roll it out for a few months. They're going to see how it works in Chile and Peru, and then they're going to they're threatening to roll it out to the rest of us.
Look, dirty little secret that I have of Netflix is they could double their prices tomorrow, and few of us would cancel. It's a deal that we're stealing right now. The amount and the quality of programming that is available to you for $14 a month is just incredible. Looking back to what you were paying for cable just 10 years ago,
You're not out of line there. You're not. Yeah, I mean, you're not completely wrong.
it's hard to complain. It's hard to complain.
It really is a good deal. It really is a good deal, and it's an even better deal if you're letting somebody else pay for it. But,
well, look, 15 years ago, I would have to go to Best Buy and I would have to buy the first season of Last Kingdom on DVD, and it would be $40. And then to get all 4 seasons, I'm in like $150 investment, and it's not conveniently streaming. I have to like go change the disc and keep up with it myself, and that's just for one show.
It's true. It's very true.
All right, later, dude.
All right, there he goes. That's James Parker, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so here's what I'm going to do with the rest of my night. I got to go get that damn dog. The dog who destroyed my shoe today. Got to go get the damn dog. Got to bring her in the house because the landscapers are coming early tomorrow morning. And if I'm not awake when the landscapers come, the dog is going to eat a landscaper. I mean, I know she seems like a nice dog. Ugh. For those of you who enjoyed us. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. All right, look at this little asshole. I mean, she is a beautiful animal. But she's big and she's muscular. That's all muscle. She is just all muscle. And she's got jowls and she's mean. And she destroyed my shoe today. And she wants to eat mailmen, squirrels, landscapers, and pool people. So I got to go over to the big house. I got to get that little jerk, and I got to bring her in with me. And then I'm going to watch the latest season of the Marvelous Mrs Maisel. I've been waiting. It's been out for a while, but they were rolling them out 1 episode every Friday, so I had to wait the 8 weeks for all 8 episodes because I just want to be able to binge them in my own leisure. So that's what I'm doing. You guys watch that show? Parker and I watched that show. Parker and I love that show on Amazon Prime. The Marvelous Mrs Maisel. It's a good show. Well, Netflix is going to raise my charges, so if you want to donate to the show, that would be wonderful. You can do that. You can use any of those links down below. Appreciate that. That's how this show runs. Join us tomorrow at noon for High Noon. We do High Noon every Monday through Friday, noon till, 2 o'clock. It's all the topics. Trending topics, hot topics, headlines, whatever's happening in the day, I'll bring it to you every day at noon. Right here, and then we come back at 9 Monday nights through Thursday nights with me and Parker. I'm sure tomorrow will be our St. Patrick's Day extravaganza. I got nothing else. All right, I love you guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow at noon. Appreciate you. Look at that dog. Look at his demon eyes. He's got one blue eye and one brown eye. It's a she. But I have a theory that all dogs are boys and all cats are girls. All right. I gotta go get that stupid dog. Bye, everybody.